Our first presenter is Lada Kesseler. She's driven by a love of learning and technical excellence. She's at home in science, extreme programming, test-driven development, and domain-driven design. She has a way of unraveling accidental complexity, turning large tangled code bases into something you can actually work with, making it possible to finally add that feature everybody's been waiting for. She believes that positive change happens through small, consistent steps that compound over time, whether it's improving a system through continuous refactoring or helping teams grow stronger through shared learning. Her approach pairs deep technical expertise with genuine empathy for both end users and fellow developers. As one of her former managers put it, she doesn't just deliver quality fast, she empowers and up-levels entire teams along the way. Wow. Recognized as one of Consulting Magazine's women leaders in technology, she approaches every challenge with unwavering optimism and an occasional sprinkle of dark humor. Let's see if we get a little bit of that today. I ask all my presenters about one thing interesting about them that nobody really knows, and she told me she's a free diver, and she can hold her breath underwater for 2 minutes. Can anybody do that here? 2 minutes? Congratulations. Llewellyn Falco is an independent agile coach. He discovered strong style pair programming. He is the creator of open source testing tool approval tests. He spends most of his time programming in Java and C++, I guess, specializing in improved legacy code. He is the co-founder of teachingkidsprogramming.org, something I'd probably need, and co-author of Mob Programming Guidebooks. And his interesting thing is, his mother invented the card game called Set. Has anybody ever played that here? Raise your hand if you have. Don't forget to pitch it for your mother, Llewellyn. Please welcome on stage Lada and Llewellyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The title of their speech is Telling Better Stories with Tests.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Llewellyn Falco.
I'm Lada Kesseler, and this is Telling Better Stories with Tests.
There's a lot of code in this talk. There's also a lot of slides. All of it is available here. We will show this at the end as well. I tend to not care about this stuff till the end, but the point is you don't need to take notes.
There's going to be some hotkeys in this presentation. I'm going to do refactoring, and if you care about them, you can pay attention to the bottom of the screen where they will pop up.
So this is a retelling of an event me and Lada went through. I was a coach out at her company. This event actually happened over many months. We're sort of just condensing it and sanitizing it a bit. But it started with just getting stuff into like nice unit tests, and it ended with tests that were good enough that the stakeholders used it as documentation. And so let's go back to where we started. So where did we start?
Yeah, I think we've been working together for like a couple months at the time, and I just learned about hexagonal architecture, and I was like, oh, interesting. Can I actually apply this and get rid of my integration tests completely? We had pretty good unit tests in the system, but integration tests were hard to support and annoying and slow. So I started writing tests on the level of the system, and they were pretty fast, and I was excited, and I wanted to show it to you.
Yeah. So Lada came to me one day.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
Look at those tests. I basically wrote the system tests that run at the speed of integration tests. Isn't that cool?
So they run really fast.
Yeah, and now we actually can like test the whole thing, and I know where something broke, and they already caught a bug.
Nice. And so, like, is this stopping us from having to do as much manual testing?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't need to do it anymore. Sweet, now immediately. And I run it as part of my unit tests when I TDD.
Oh, that's fantastic. OK, so let's take a look at this. So, we got an event notifier, and like an account ID and some code, and then a bot.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, hold on. I'm sure this makes a lot of sense to you. I'm having a little trouble with it. Before we fix it, let's state the problem. I find that useful.
OK.
It's a slightly confusing test. It's probably not confusing for Lada, like she just wrote it, but it's confusing for me, right? And when tests are confusing, there's always one place I go, right? We go back to the testing circle. So we've done this in Learning Hour, but it's new for everyone here, so let's review it. The idea of the testing circle is we are going to draw this on the whiteboard. From there, we're going to create English that represents the steps that we do in the whiteboard. From there, we're going to create the code, usually one line of English, one line of code. And from that, it's going to produce some kind of result that sort of reminds us of the whiteboard, sort of completing that circle. So let's do that with this code. What does the whiteboard look like?
Oh, I guess it's a very simple test, actually. So we have a bot, and when the customer says hi, the bot is like, "Hi there, I'm your visual assistant. What would you like to do today?"
So this is like a chat bot you're building.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is a whole scenario?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. OK. Yeah.
OK.
Kind of noisy, isn't it?
Well, OK, let's take this a little further. Let's go. Somewhere in here is a hi. Where is our hi?
It's here.
OK. So that is the part that we have on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff is?
Well, setup.
Setup? OK, sure. OK, great. So let's go back to the code.
OK.
Take me back to the code first. So where's the hi again?
It's here.
Good. Let's pull that out to the very top.
OK.
Message, maybe?
Text.
Text. There we go.
Fine.
And then everything else must be what the bot responds. So let's just grab everything else and call it verify conversation, maybe?
You want to extract function?
Verify response.
OK. Verify conversation. OK.
Cool.
I'll just
skip that for now.
this one. Yep.
OK. So they say hi. They do the text. I like that. This still runs. This still works.
Yeah. You want me to run it?
Yeah. OK, let's go back to that whiteboard circle.
OK.
So we started with this fairly simple whiteboard. If we were to turn that into English, it would be customer says hi, verify conversation. That's 2 lines. So 2 lines of code seems appropriate, which is what we ended up with.
Right.
I would like to do a little bit better than what we just did, because our verify conversation now is very specific. So I need to introduce a new concept to you. I want to introduce the concept of approval tests. So this is like golden master testing or snapshot testing, if you're familiar with that. Same idea, right? Let's go and try it out.
OK. How do I do this?
So go find that piece where the bot talks to us again.
Oh, this part? You mean
Yeah.
the response?
So we're going to, instead of doing assert that, let's just do a verify, approvals.verify.
Oh, OK. OK.
And we'll just do the bot commands, sure.
Oh, OK.
So the way this will work is when you run this, it's going to open a diff tool and say, hey, this is what I got. This is what you said is OK. We haven't said anything's OK, so that side should be blank. So let's run that.
There you go. Oh, kind of noisy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little hard to read, isn't it? OK, can we go back? Do you have some way we can make that easier to read?
You know what? I had some log helper that could probably help here. So let me see. Log utils, probably this guy. Print commands. So we can just use that for now. See if it looks good. Let's try this.
Cool. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's much better.
Much nicer. OK. That makes sense. I've seen your logs. They're usually pretty good.
I'll try.
Let's move that over.
Right.
And let's go back and sort of
Yes.
talk about, do a small retro on what we just did.
Yeah, so what happened here, just for anybody who missed it, is we have the approved file and received file. We didn't have anything in approved file. It was empty. And now we have a received file. The system compares the two, and if they match, it passes. If it doesn't match, it pops up.
Great.
All right.
So let's go back to our slides.
Yep.
So we started with this testing circle. Over here, we started with the whiteboard. We drew that out. That helped me a lot to understand what's going on. Right? We turned that into the English, 2 lines, so 2 lines of code. And that now prints something that kind of reminds me of the conversation on the whiteboard, right? Which is good, because we'll throw away the whiteboard.
All right.
Is that good?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? One thing I see, like if I look at the whiteboard and the result, we kind of don't have this thing, right? The customer part. Wouldn't it be nice to have that?
Right. That would be nice. It would be nice if we could remember why it's responding, right? I'll leave you to figure that out, but I think that'd be beautiful.
Okay.
So what happened here? We started with some code that was a little bit complex. Whenever I see something I don't understand, I go back to the testing circle and draw it on the whiteboard. You are so much smarter when you are thinking at a whiteboard. And from that, we added approval tests that allowed us to sort of verify just bigger chunks of text. This is where we started. The information was here. It was just hidden. And now we have the verify conversation in the information. Right, we just sort of remove the noise. So what do we learn?
All right. So basically, whenever you have some noise in your tests, you can kind of take a step back and think, what am I trying to tell here? What is the story we're trying to tell here, right? And testing circle is a good mechanism to basically go back to. Just draw a story like you would like on a whiteboard. And then you turn it into English. Try to do it in the same amount of English as in the board. So then you turn it into code, same thing, the same amount of English. And this way you maintain the level of abstraction that you care about. And then check the results. Does it match the whiteboard? Yes, no. In this case, we saw that it wasn't. So we're going to go and fix that.
Nice.
And then you can use convenience functions to basically raise the level of abstraction. Right? So we extracted all the noise and used it as a method. For some reason, people don't tend to care about their tests as much as code,
Yeah.
which is...
I think sometimes we have different opinions of what production code should look like versus test code.
Yeah. And then approval test actually is a very good tool to have under your belt, just to know about it. Because whenever you have like some graphics output or audio output
Anything
or
that's
giant JSON that you
more
really...
basic than a primitive.
Yeah, like this is where it's super handy to have. So for those situations, you can use that. And in this case, we're just drawing our story in a way that is domain-y, right? It's understood for both of us.
So Lada goes back to her team for a while, and next week she comes to me again.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
So I implemented the thing. We talked about it yesterday, the other week. So I added the high part here.
Oh, that's awesome. Kind of awesome. Sorry. My OCD is just triggering a little bit. Can you add a little bit of spaces after the bot so it lines up for me?
OK. Fine.
Nice. Yeah.
OK.
That just makes it a little easier for me to read. I pay a lot of attention to like these things that annoy me. Can you make it so that it does that?
Oh,
like,
sure.
for real?
So I can just go and do this here, in my storyboard. I have it over here. That should work.
Great. Let's run that.
OK.
See that happy?
Oh, wrong test. Let me run the right test. There you go.
Nice. And the second one?
OK.
OK, that looks good, except for that last line. Can you?
Oh, yeah, not levels one. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Actually, let me accept that. Mm-hmm. All right. And I guess I need to do the same thing here, don't I?
So there's a couple little concepts I'm noticing here. I think we should just spell them out. The first is she's using a storyboard. And the storyboard is more of a concept than a thing. It's just the idea like, hey, if I want to tell a story over time, I'm going to put it all together on some of, like, think of it like in a movie or a comic book. Like, I just want to put things on a canvas. And the simplest canvas is just a string. You can just attach things to a string. And the other thing I noticed is we're using a printer.
Yeah.
Now, I guess we kind of already use that with the logging, right? But printers are just things that allow us to print things in a format that makes it easy for us to read. It looks like you have a printer for the customer and the bot.
Yeah, I created that to convenient.
Cool. All right. Let's go and do the third test.
All right. Let's run this one. That should be level now.
It also looks like we have more.
Yeah. I left it because I want to talk to you about it. So,
Okay.
Basically, what's happening here is like we have additional, like instead of text, we also have like buttons we send to the customer. So like,
Okay.
I was thinking like on one hand it would be nice to validate it in the end, but here it kind of sticks out. What do you think?
Well, okay. Well, let's state the problem again.
All right.
I have no idea what that means. Like, what was printed out there? And so again, if I don't understand it, we go to the whiteboard. Let's go back to the testing circle.
Mm-hmm.
What does this look like?
So like before, customer says hi, we reply and greet them. And when the customer says what they actually want to do, we reply with, are you a customer? Yes, no, and give them buttons to press.
So I don't need to type my response. I can just click that. Mm-hmm. And that JSON thingy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So where is this and that?
Yeah. So it's here. This part is here, and then this part is here.
Okay. So it looks like we need another printer, something that will print that out. I'm going to let you tackle that, but let's talk about what just happened.
Okay.
So now that we had approval tests, we started to get more tests, right? And that meant we needed a storyboard to sort of tell a bigger story, and we needed printers to sort of put the pieces on the storyboard. And when we did that, we ended up with some JSON.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also, we're paying a lot of attention to formatting. That doesn't make a big difference, but check this out.
Yeah.
How much easier is that to read?
Much more scannable.
Again, I'm really sensitive to developer pain. And like, if you feel any, I really encourage you, don't ignore it, don't push through it, fix it. All right. Let's retro. What do we learn?
All right. So again, pay attention to the story. And when something doesn't fit in the story, looks really different, you can basically fall back to storyboard and make it nice, make it fit, right? And for that, you can use printers to format, like in this case, we're going to just do the buttons like you see here. Formatting is a good thing to pay attention to as well, because scannability is a thing, and it really helps if you pay attention to it.
So Lada goes back to her team, and next week she comes to me.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
All right, so I did the buttons thing.
Cool.
Check it out.
It looks like we got more tests, too.
Oh, yeah. It's starting to convert the rest of the test suite. Mm-hmm.
A lot more tests.
Yeah. Here.
Well, that's cool.
That's part of, I guess, part of the thing I wanted to talk to you about, right? So I started adding more tests, and you see how like each of them is a file?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I have to navigate between this and that, and just noisy is my problem.
Well, let's state the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We got too many approval files now. Right? Like, it was great. It allowed us to get to this place, but now it's like bothering me. So introduce a new concept, inline approvals. So this is how this works. Now we're going to take the content and put it in the file. Right? And we're going to do that by using this options, telling it to use the inline expected. And when it fails, it's still going to give us a diff tool. But this time, the other side is our source code. And the left side is the potential new source code. So when we move that over, we change the source. Mm-hmm. So let's try it out.
All right. Let's see.
So we're going to take go to there, yeah. So where it says verify, we're going to start by using that options. So let's pass in new options.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we'll do inline. And right now, just an empty string, because who knows what that is. Mm-hmm. And then let's promote that empty string to a parameter.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to introduce parameter. What do you want to call
Expected looks great.
Okay.
And then let's go to our first one. And we'll just run that.
Okay.
So
Wait,
now
what?
we see the expected over here. We just move that over.
It modifies my source file?
Modifies the, well, it hasn't yet. It will in a moment when you move it over.
That is crazy. Okay. Let me see that.
And there's one more thing you're going to have to do. Now you're going to have to pass in expected as the first parameter.
This is awesome. Okay. All right. Expected. So if I
And
run
run again, let's see it pass.
Pass, right?
Yeah. Great.
I really like this.
So let's go back. We'll do retro. All right, so we got a lot of files. We are introducing inline now. It's just a way of managing. And it works really great as long as the text output is less than 10 lines. If it starts getting bigger than that, I tend to not like this. Here, we had a little bit of stuff, but we had all these files. And now it's just all together over here. And when you want to look at a specific thing, it's just all there.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do we learn?
Well, there's a thing called inline approvals, and you can just, if you have a small input, you can just have the whole story in the tests. And I guess it reminds me of just a simple unit test, but the difference here is it is in domain language for us.
Exactly.
Which is nice.
Yeah. So Lada goes back to her team, and next week she comes to me again.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
All right. So I turned everything into approvals, and look how awesome this is. I don't need to have to run to all these test files. Everything's here. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, OK, so this is definitely better. I like that we've reduced the number of approval files, but now I have a brand new problem. Let's start by stating that.
OK.
It's really, really hard for me to see the overall test strategy now, right? Like, it's just, everything got so big. I'm going to introduce a new concept for you. Verify all. So verify all is like a fancy for loop, right? When you have things that are very, very similar, we can just sort of remove some duplication on it. I'm going to take you through this, but to do that, I need to introduce one more concept, a many of one refactoring. So let's go back, and we'll walk through that. So first, let's just put some comments on 20 and a half.
20 and a half. OK.
So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to introduce an array that I unindex, de-index.
Let's do a list.
A list, sure. I'm good with that. List de-indexed. Next, I'm going to introduce many of one. And then I'm going to introduce many of two. It'll make sense in a moment, I promise. So step one, can you inline verify conversations so we can just do that right here?
Just here?
Yeah.
All right. Keep the method. Cool.
Great. So here we have this conversations, new conversations. Can you just put a list of new conversations?
Hi. OK.
And then that will, you borrow the other side, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's fine. Oh, no casting, please.
There we go. And then here on conversations, just say conversations.getZero. Really simple refactoring.
Oh, you're cheating. You're basically
I'm
wrapping
cheating.
it in a list and unwrapping it immediately.
I think being a good programmer is knowing how to cheat well. So we should be able to run that. That should work.
So is this like many of one?
Yeah. Good. OK, so that's the first thing. We've de-indexed a list. Next, we're going to do many of one. So I want to keep this line here. Let's just write a new line underneath it.
OK.
So we're going to, after the list,
After the list?
26 and a half. Yep.
Thanks.
And we're going to say approvals.verify all.
No, I see.
And then it needs a header. So right now, we're just going to pass it the string header. And then it needs a list of stuff. So that's our conversations.
OK.
And then we need, a lambda. And it goes to play conversation.
Play conversation?
Yeah.
OK.
OK, so let's run, comment out the line underneath it. Let's run this.
Wrong language. Yep.
So this is many of one, right? I'm now doing something that could use many, but my list only contains one thing.
OK.
Right? So here, I get to see that. Let's move that over.
All right, moving that over. Yep.
And then next, we're going to do many of two. So go to the second test and grab that conversation, and let's just add it to the list.
Oh, it should be pretty straightforward, right? You can just do that.
Yeah, pretty much just like that,
One sec.
but with different text.
Okay. That should be not that. Nice.
Great. So let's run that again.
So that's many of two.
Yeah. This is good. I want a better header.
Yeah.
So
I think
let's, how about test scenarios, test conversations, something like that?
Sure. Here?
Yeah.
Test scenarios, I like that. You still need this?
Don't need that anymore.
Cool.
And run that.
Okay.
Good. And now
That's better. Kind of needs a header, doesn't it? Like for each story, because right now they're just smooshed together.
it's like hard to see. Yeah, OK, let's do that. So let's go back to that Lambda.
Yep, one second.
We'll just make like a really small printer. So scroll down in front where it goes, C goes to play conversations. Put a print header C+.
Of C.
Yeah.
Plus blah.
OK, and let's create that.
Okay.
And I don't know, give me a lot of strings. We'll do a string format with a multi-line string.
Okay.
Put a string format around that.
Okay.
And then a lot of stars. I want a lot of stars.
A lot of stars. I tend to do this differently, but okay.
And then another line of a lot of stars.
Thanks, autocomplete. 1 second. Another line of that.
Yep.
If my keyboard will.
And then in between, give me a star and like a %s. Let's just see what happens if we print the conversation. So pass it in our formatting. It'd be nice to string interpolate this, but Java string interpolation sucks. So we're not doing that.
Oh, where do I press what?
Down on line 36.
Oh, right, of course. Okay.
All right, great. Let's run that and see how that looks.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's much nicer.
Easier to see which like separate the conversations, right? Great. I'll leave you to finish this up, but let's retro.
Sounds good.
All right, so we did our inline, which is great, but now things got really far apart, so it's hard to see the overall picture. So we used a new concept called verify all, and that allows everything to come back together.
I'm not sure about this. Like, I really like my inline approvals, so but I'll give it a go. That's fine.
I appreciate the trust. What did we learn?
Yeah. So whenever you have many tests that kind of are the same test, you can use in JUnit and similar frameworks, you can use just parameterized tests.
Yeah.
But in approval tests, the equivalent is verified all, and we kind of refactor to that with the refactoring that Llewellyn showed, which is many of one, and then many of two, and so on. And then we used printers to improve.
A lot of printers.
To improve output, and then that basically allows us to see both what's going on in the individual test, but also have like a high-level map of what's going on.
So Lada goes back to her team for a while, and next week she comes and gets me.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
I did that thing we talked about.
Cool.
So here, I converted more of the tests to that, and there you go. So now you have the overall strategy, I think.
OK, OCD is hitting me again. Can you just alphabetize the scenarios for me?
I mean, sort them?
Yeah.
OK. 1 second. There you go.
Cool. Run it again, because that test is totally going to break.
Because they're all out of order, right?
Yeah. Just disapprove the whole thing. That's the plus side of when you only change the test.
Is there a good way to approve all the things?
Select all,
Oh,
and then.
there you go.
Yep.
Oh, OK. So now if I run it,
Great. So now we can go and actually like see the test strategy. So if we go up and look at that, okay, so you got like hi, hi, hi. Like what happens if you just keep saying hi, hi, pay bills, hi, yes, I'm a customer, hi, no, I'm a. Actually, why is there no?
Oh, you mean like not a customer? Oh, you're totally right. I missed that. Okay. Should we just add it? Let's say no here.
All right, let's run that. So it's just easier now to see if something's missing in our overall strategy.
Yeah, looks good.
Is that the right answer? Cool.
Yeah, it should be to operator. Cool.
Great. And then let's scroll down a little bit, and like that should be our whole test suite.
Yeah, there's another one. So
Why is this not in there?
So you know how we had like one conversation before? Now we have two. So customer, we have memory in the bot. So we first time we see the person, hi, I'm your assistant, and then the second time we just don't introduce themselves. And
So there's like some sort of memory that you called before.
yeah. So the second conversation is kind of showing that.
Okay. Well, let's state the problem. This is not too unexpected. A lot of times when you remove a lot of duplication, you'll notice there's some things that are almost duplicate. So we got like 95 of the tests are now together, but we got those edge cases, right? And now they're obviously edge cases. So we got a new concept. Let's work on a custom DSL, right? Like we need tools that make it easier for us to tell our story. So can you take me to the place where that is?
Sure. Let me see. It's over here.
Okay, so it's like these three lines, like conversation, conversation, then you put the two conversations together?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so let's, on line 90 and a half, I want to sort of make a better API for this. So let's do a dot and conversation, then conversation.
I like that conversation.
Okay, and then it would be pay bill, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pay bill.
And I want that to give me that list of the two things.
Makes sense.
Okay, so Lada went and like built that piece of code. We're going to skip the actual building of that, but can you convert it to the new objects? So conversations on 90.
Conversations on 90.
Conversations, plural.
Right.
And we can delete those two.
We don't need those. And I guess this thing also needs to be, I don't know.
Conversations, yeah. So now we have like just a nicer way of constructing our scenario. That should pass, right?
I would imagine.
Great. And now we're going to go back to the place where everything is. And we're going to use a variation of many-a-one here. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to change all of those from conversation to conversations.
Okay.
And then I think on the last line, we need to say have conversations.
I guess I started with the second test.
On line 39.
39? Yeah.
Have conversations.
Okay.
So let's run that. And now we get that second conversation. Right? So now everything is sort of together. I'll let you finish up the rest of those, but let's retro.
Okay.
So when we did the verify all, we realized that some things were still outliers. We could see that now, so we brought them in. Built a little bit better code to help us construct our tests. Yeah. You can see there's not much difference in these two lines, and yet it allows us to put them together as a similar thing.
Yeah, express in domain language.
Yeah. And now everything's together. So what do we learn?
So basically, pay attention to outliers. You will inevitably get those. And whenever you have them, you can use custom DSLs or custom assertions in some test frameworks to kind of combine them together and express them in a better language, in domain language.
So Lada goes back to her team, and this time she surprised me.
Hey, Llewellyn.
Hey, Lada.
So, you know what? It was really bugging me that I was missing my approval test.
Yeah,
my
the inlines.
my inline test, yeah. So, and I was just looking at this and thinking, this kind of looks like a menu, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah, it sort of looks like a menu.
So
So
wouldn't it be nice if I could just click a link and it takes me to the inline test? That's
yeah,
kinda what
but
I
I
want.
mean, it's IntelliJ. It's not like we're writing a plugin or something.
Yeah. And another thing, like I wanted to, so the team got excited about this, and we kind of wanted to show it to our product manager, and like it's kind of awkward to send it to them.
But it's not like a product manager is going to open your IDE.
I mean, you'll be surprised, but yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the problem is this thing is only for developers right now, and we are kind of writing in a domain language. It makes no sense.
Okay. So what do we do here?
Well, you introduced the approved file. You mentioned like you can do sounds and all the...
Right. Approved files can be anything. I mean, they're usually text, but that's not a limitation. They can be graphics or sound or anything, really.
Yeah, in this case, it's kind of convenient. If it was a Markdown, wouldn't it be? Because Markdown has links.
Markdown is links.
And
Can you click those?
Yep.
Show me.
I may not be able to show you, but there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's really nice. But still, how are you going to get your people to open your IDE?
Oh, yeah. So no reason I can't just put it on the, GitHub. So I can just...
The code's in
This is
GitHub
what
anyways.
yeah, so I just put it here and look. So you can see like overall strategy over here, and like you're interested in a scenario, you go here. What do you think?
And now they don't have to, it's just a website to them.
Yeah. And
What
it's
if
runnable.
they edit it, though?
What?
What if they edit it? What if they're like, oh, I don't like that. That's not how it should be.
Yeah,
But
so
now
they
they're breaking
never
your
get
code.
outdated because they're runnable, so
Yeah.
updated. But they can also edit it, right? So if you go and edit, that's
Yeah.
basically BDT, like lightweight BDD
Yeah,
with
yeah.
zero cost almost. Yeah.
And I
they
guess
can-
then your tests
and
fail and it just becomes your requirements.
Pretty much, yeah. So they can actually do that if they want to.
That's really cool. Well, let's retro.
Awesome. All right. So we had basically, like, we paid attention to our nagging feeling of there's something still off a bit. Like, I want a better world, and we're developers, we can make it happen, right? So we used Markdown files, and we are now printing it in the domain language and allowing our product people use them as well.
That's nice. This has been a kind of weird and windy path that we've taken, right? And just to be clear, like, it's not like we knew this is where we're going.
Yeah, no way, right? From here, I would never have guessed this. Even this, I guess.
It's just every time we're paying attention to, like, well, this is annoying me. Let's fix it so it doesn't annoy me.
Yeah, and one more thing I think that was interesting is, you know what? I think if I didn't do what you wanted to do, I didn't see I was missing my inlines, right?
Yeah.
And if I didn't do this, we wouldn't be able to get to this step. So that was kind of interesting.
We've heard this in different talks, but like developer pain is a real thing. And if you can get that pain away from yourself, like A, you don't have to feel it, and B, there's good things there. Like trust that pain is telling you something needs to change.
About your system.
Yeah.
So it's a way to learn about your system.
This is where we started. That's one test. On the right-hand side, that's the entire test suite now.
Right. It used to
They're
be just
almost
one
the same size.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we now have tests, like if you click number 7 there, takes you to test number 7.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So we went through a lot of concepts here in a very short amount of time. We don't expect them all to be useful to you, but we very much hope that some of them are. Like, your mileage will vary, right? Your context will be different. If you remember anything, please remember just pay attention to anything that annoys you and fix it, and pay attention to the stories you are telling. Those stories are powerful. Here's how these things sort of relate to each other, not just chronologically. We started with storytelling. It always starts with storytelling. From that storytelling, we go to the whiteboard circle. That's how we're telling our stories. We start at the whiteboard. To create those stories, we need storyboards, we need printers, and then to capture the output of those, we need approval tests. If it's short, maybe we use the inline approval tests. All of that allows us to sort of capture the story. We also have to tell the story, which means we need convenience functions, and sometimes we need more robust convenience functions in the form of a DSL, things that help us construct the thing we're trying to tell. When all that comes together, you can see the whole picture and the individual parts. Verify all is a useful technique to get there, but also Markdown is a nice way of seeing the whole story.
Yeah, and actually I used this concept on a few other projects, and like with giant JSONs, and people seem to really like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm Llewellyn Falco.
I'm Lada Kesseler.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Llewellyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lada.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Stay.
We have 2 or 3 minutes left, so if any of you have any questions, I don't know if there are any Slido questions at all. There is.
I don't get how the storyboard concept was expressed in code. Yeah, so the question, like in the end, we have to verify something, right? In the very, very beginning, we verified, it was like conversations or pieces or messages.
Mm-hmm. Conversations, I think.
Conversations, yeah. But we didn't want to just verify a single piece of output. We wanted to tell the whole story of like, the customer said this, the bot responded here, the customer said this. That's what the storyboard is doing, right? It's giving us a place where we can sort of write a history to capture. And then the thing we're verifying is the storyboard. You just need a place to put everything.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It can be a string, like in simple version, and you can create an object that basically just combines things in a way you care about.
Yeah.
Okay. How can you apply approval tests to more complex types, not just strings?
I mean, you've showed me the WAV file, blew my mind.
So we were doing a test where we were using text-to-speech, right? And so, hey, given hello craft, I want a WAV file that says hello craft.
Transcription.
Right? How do you test that? Well, you have it capture the WAV file, and you listen to the WAV file, and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And then as long as it creates the same WAV file, we're good.
And
Right?
pictures also?
You can do it, yeah, pictures a lot. If we're doing any kind of graphics or stuff like that, we'll capture graphics.
Could be
Yeah.
a screenshot of your front page or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you do this for non-text-based comparisons, like comparing 2 numbers with some error tolerance?
Error tolerance. Error tolerance is much more tricky. So when we are dealing with something like error tolerance, the way that we tend to do it is either, maybe that's a good place for an assert, like approvals does not remove asserts. The other thing is maybe it's a good place for your printer to do a little bit of formatting. Like if you don't care about the precision past the 3rd digit, don't print it. Give me 3 digits of precision.
Okay. How is it better than using gherkin syntax with cucumber or with other existing BDD tools?
Yeah, actually, I have an answer to that. Have you ever set one up? I did. Do I need to elaborate? No, sorry. Basically, it's great. It's a good tool. In my experience, I've seen that people struggle to adopt the gherkin. It takes a lot of time plus setup. This is practically priceless. Like, there's no cost.
I think the big difference is like approval test sits under your testing framework, where gherkin sits in top of it. It sort of like is trying to replace your testing framework, right? So a lot of times you're writing stuff there, it's not in the code, you have to get into it. Like here, this is not a testing framework, it's just a verification, right? You use whatever you were using before. You're using JUnit, you're using JUnit. If you're using, PyTest, you use PyTest. Like, approval test is in a lot of languages. We use Java because that's where the code was.
Yeah, but it was ironic because I think we made this talk somewhere and we're like, what do you think about like, the name for this? And people were like, BDD by mistake. Because we actually just rediscovered BDD here. That's all we did. Which makes sense because BDD was about domain language and we kind of followed it, right? So it kind of naturally follows that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Does it sound like we can test printers we wrote for tests also with similar technique? Yes?
So I think we're testing the printers almost by side effect, right? Because it's like the printers that we're using show up in our storyboards, so they're getting tested that way. So we don't need separate tests for them.
One last question over there.
So it seems to me you've done the when-then. How do you approach the givens?
Right. So the question was, there's a common pattern called given, when, then. And he said, well, you're doing the whens and you're doing the thens, but you're not doing the givens. And OK, here's the secret. Given, when, then is a lie, right? Often, there is a given and a when. But there isn't always. Sometimes there's just a given, sometimes there's just a when, and often there's both. What there really is there's a do. You always do something, and then you verify it. Possibly a version of your question is, it looks like you're avoiding the step where you have to do all that setup. That's a totally different talk, but I remind you of developer pain. If you have to do a lot of setup to test something simple, maybe you should pay attention to that pain and change your code so you don't have to. It's very doable. Just pay attention to that pain.
Okay, and the last question of the day is, can you address variables in the accepted responses? If you have to check if the given variable is between a given range, does this methodology support it?
So again, like if you want to check if something's in a range, I would do that check in the printer, like boom,
I've
in
done that
range.
before.
Or use an assert. Like it's not like you even have to choose. You can use asserts and approvals.
And I guess another thing you'll run into immediately when you start doing this, like your output will have randomness in different forms, right?
Yeah.
Dates, or like differences of any kind. And you have a tool for this, right?
So we have scrubbers.
Yeah, so you can scrub your data, and basically it shows you like date 1. You care about date 1, but you really care that this date 1 is the same as that date 1 over there down below, right? And you just do date 1.
Yeah, and lots of scrubbers out of the box to sort of help facilitate that.
Yeah.
Okay, super, guys. If you have any other additional questions, I'm sure you can find them out and about in the conference area here, and please stop them,
Yeah,
ask them your
please
questions.
come and ask us if you have questions.
Conversation with them. In the meantime, I would like to thank you both
for
taking your time and coming to educate us here at Craft Hub.
Thanks so much.
We learned a lot. Let's give it up for Llewellyn and Lada.
Thank you.